Welcome everyone to a very special episode of Paranormal. Today's story is based on a real incident that happened to one of my friends. A chilling tale filled with serial killings, love, mystery, and horror. One after another, young men in the city are being found dead. There are no marks of injury on their bodies. And strangely enough, every victim is discovered naked. Not a single drop of blood is left in their bodies. But why? What is the reason behind these terrifying deaths? And who is responsible for them? To uncover the truth, you must listen carefully till the very end. One small distraction, and you may miss the true thrill of this story. Along the way, many questions may arise in your mind, but slowly, everything will become clear. You have heard countless stories about ghosts, spirits, demons, and supernatural entities. But today, let us talk about something darker. An evil goddess, an ancient demonic entity. I don't know how much fear this story will bring you, but this entity will definitely leave you disturbed and thoughtful. This is Paranormal Express 3 from Kafragaon. At the very end, I'll ask for your opinions, how scared you felt, and how deeply this story touched you. So let's begin. 3, 2, 1. Concentration. The sun had just started to rise. The harsh cries of crows filled the atmosphere around the garbage dumping ground. Beside the dumping area stood an abandoned room where the supervisor of the municipal cleaners occasionally stayed. The municipal sweepers had just started arriving for work. Their garbage vans were lined up beside the old room. One sweeper came to collect his van and noticed hundreds of crows gathered around something, cawing excitedly. Curious, he slowly walked closer, wondering what had attracted so many crows, but the moment he reached there, he screamed in terror and ran away, shouting for help. What the crows surrounded was not an object. It was a corpse. Several crows sat on the body's forehead, cheeks, and chest, pecking at its eyes. They had already eaten away much of the eye sockets, leaving deep, hollow pits. Other crows were tearing at the naked body, feeding on its soft flesh. Horrified, the sweeper ran while screaming, "Murder! Murder!" Soon the police arrived. The dead man appeared to be around 28 years old. His body was unnaturally pale. Wherever the crows had pecked, raw red flesh was exposed. But the most horrifying thing was this. Not a single drop of blood remained in his body. The police took the corpse away. Later, they identified him as a local man around 30 years old. Yet they could not determine the cause of death. Only one detail disturbed them deeply. The body had been completely drained of blood. The case eventually became an unsolved mystery. Exactly 1 month later, another incident occurred. Residents of a 5-story apartment building noticed a terrible rotten smell coming from a 3rd-floor flat. A 32-year-old office worker lived alone there. When a neighbor knocked on the door, he found it slightly open. As soon as he entered, a horrifying stench hit his nose. Then he saw the dead body lying naked on the floor. Worms and insects crawled all over the pale corpse. Police were informed immediately. The second body showed the exact same condition as the first one. Pale, naked, and completely drained of blood. Then, 1 month later, another young man's body was discovered in a shared mess house. The 25-year-old youth was found lying face down on the floor, naked and bloodless. The other tenants had gone on a picnic to another city, while he stayed behind due to work. When they returned, they found his body. The local police became deeply worried. All 3 deaths were identical. All the victims were healthy young men. All were found naked. All had been completely drained of blood, as if something had carefully sucked every drop from their bodies to satisfy an unnatural thirst. There was another strange similarity. All 3 men had engaged in sexual intercourse before their deaths. And each murder had taken place on a full moon night. No clue was found at any crime scene. The police believed a psychopathic serial killer was behind these murders. Meanwhile, in the same city lived a young couple, Arnab and Esha. The evening sun slowly sank into the western sky. Flocks of birds returned to the jackfruit orchard nearby. The smell of damp soil filled the air as soft winds swayed the rice fields. Arnab sat on a stone bench, eating peanuts from a paper cone. He looked at Esha sitting beside him. Something about her had changed. The lively smile, the endless conversations, the spark in her eyes, all seemed gone. Arnab cracked another peanut shell and asked softly, "You've changed lately, Esha. Your love doesn't feel the same anymore. You don't smile like before. Did something happen?" Esha looked at him with an emotionless face and replied quietly, "Nothing happened." Arnab fell silent. This field, known as Kathaltola, was their regular meeting place. Their love story had started in class 11 and had lasted for 8 long years. They were both sweet and simple people. Arnab worked at a private company while Esha was still unemployed. Everything had once been perfect, but for the past 3 months, Esha had changed completely. She barely spoke. Her eyes constantly carried fear and emptiness. One evening, as they sat together, a dry branch suddenly snapped nearby with a loud crack. Both turned in shock, but nobody was there. The wind stopped. Even the birds fell silent. An unnatural stillness spread across the surroundings. Arnab whispered nervously, "Let's go home," but Esha kept staring toward the darkness, as if she could see something invisible. As days passed, Esha became more distant. Arnab grew worried and started spending more time with her. He even forced her to visit a psychiatrist, but she always dismissed everything by saying, "Nothing is wrong." Eventually, she stopped meeting him altogether. Arnab slowly became suspicious. One of his friends claimed he had seen Esha leaving a cinema hall with another man, laughing and behaving intimately. Arnab was heartbroken. Yet he kept waiting for her every evening at their usual field. Then one day, Esha's mother called Arnab in tears. Esha had disappeared. Arnab rushed to her house. Her mother explained that, ever since Esha's birthday 3 months earlier, she had become completely different. She stayed locked in her room, talked to herself, disappeared for hours, and returned home silently. Her uncle had even seen her with different men. Devastated, Arnab finally accepted the painful truth. Perhaps Esha no longer loved him. Days later, Esha returned home, but she continued ignoring Arnab. Then one evening, Arnab saw her laughing happily with his own friend Rajesh at a street food stall. Furious, he confronted Rajesh later over the phone. Rajesh calmly admitted, "Esha doesn't love you anymore. She wants to stay with me." Arnab's heart shattered. 23 days later, police called Arnab. Rajesh had been found dead in his house. Naked. Bloodless. Dead on the night of the full moon. Because of Arnab's argument with Rajesh, the police considered him a suspect. Confused and terrified, Arnab paced around his room in panic. Then suddenly, his phone rang. It was Esha. Arnab exploded in anger, accusing her of betrayal and ruining his life. But Esha's calm voice silenced him instantly. "I won't trouble you ever again. Please come meet me once. I'm tired, Arnab. My time has come. I'm at Skyview Hotel, room 907. Terrified that she might harm herself, Arnab rushed to the hotel. Skyview was the city's most luxurious hotel. After reaching room 907, he knocked on the door. Esha opened it. She looked even more beautiful than before. Glowing, healthy, almost unreal, yet her face was strangely calm. Standing on the balcony overlooking the city lights, Esha softly said, "I always dreamed we would spend our honeymoon in this hotel. We never truly became close in all these years. Today won't change that either. But I wanted to spend some final moments with you here." Then, she handed Arnab a diary. "All your answers are inside this diary. But don't read it now. You must write its ending." Suddenly, before Arnab could react, Esha climbed the balcony railing and jumped. Arnab screamed and tried to grab her hand, but failed. He looked down and saw her shattered body lying in a pool of blood. Her skull had cracked open, organs exposed, blood spreading across the road. Yet there was a strange, peaceful smile on her face. Arnab collapsed in shock. He remained in a coma for 28 days and died on another full moon night due to brain hemorrhage caused by severe psychological trauma. Now everything becomes clear. 4 months earlier, on Esha's birthday, Arnab had gifted her an antique doll. It was a strange sculpture of a beautiful woman wearing a purple sari, one breast exposed, with a serpent-like lower body. The doll had belonged to Arnab's great-grandfather, who was once a powerful occult practitioner. His guru had gifted him the statue of a Greek demonic entity known as a succubus. One day, Esha accidentally cut her finger and noticed something horrifying. When drops of blood fell on the statue, the blood vanished instantly. But water and juice did nothing. Only blood was absorbed. That same night, Esha woke up and saw a terrifying woman inside her room. She wore a purple sari, had a serpent-like lower body, pale glowing skin, and burning eyes filled with lust and death. The entity leapt onto Esha and merged into her body. From that moment onward, Esha became possessed. A succubus is a demonic female entity believed to seduce men through desire and lust, draining their life force and blood during intimacy. It becomes strongest during full moon nights. The demon inside Esha forced her to lure men and feed on them. Every full moon, another victim died. But Esha's love for Arnab was stronger than the demon's influence. The entity constantly demanded Arnab as its next victim. Yet Esha resisted with all her strength. That is why she pushed Arnab away and avoided him completely. If her love had been even slightly weaker, Arnab would have become the first victim. In the end, Esha chose death over allowing the demon to kill the man she loved. Her diary ended with these words: "The gift you gave me tried to drag you toward death. That same gift became my death sentence. I am fortunate that by giving myself death, I could give you life. Stay happy. In another life, may I return to you once again. If possible, forgive me." And that was today's story. In our daily lives, we often bring unknown statues, dolls, or antique objects into our homes without understanding their energy. Everything carries an energy, whether positive or negative. Some time ago, many people shared disturbing experiences online regarding strange dolls and cursed objects. So be careful about what you bring into your home. Instead of blindly following trends, surround yourself with positive things and stay spiritually aware. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment and let me know where you're watching from. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. Thanks.